Yes, when St. Patrick's Day rolls around, I make corned beef. In fact, I make corned beef around that whole time, week before, week after. I've done videos on traditional ways of making it, doing it out on the grill, the smoker. But one video I've never done is making it from scratch. So today we're going to take a nice 3-pound piece of brisket flat. We're gonna make our spices, we're gonna make our brine, and over the next 5 days, this piece of brisket is gonna turn into corned beef. So yes, this is not a one-day video. You'll be seeing me today and then in 5 days when we actually cook this corned beef. Because it takes about 5 days for it to pickle, to cure. We're gonna be putting it in liquid in that brine solution, and it's gonna be terrific. First thing, we have to get our spices ready to make our pickling spice. And there's a few of them that we need to toast up a little bit to help release their flavors. So let's head over to the stove. Now I've got my skillet over a medium flame here on the burner, and we're just gonna toast up 3 of our spices. And by toasting, I mean just until you start to smell those aromatics coming off of them. First, we're starting with 2 tablespoons of black peppercorns, 2 tablespoons of coriander seeds, and 2 tablespoons of mustard seed. And we're just gonna spread these around. It's just gonna take a few minutes. Just want to start smelling those aromatics coming off of this. Should take a couple, 3 minutes. We're just starting to get that smell of this, that aroma starting. Don't go much past 3 minutes on here. All right, that's good. I'm gonna kill the burner and we're gonna head back over to the cutting board. So I have my mortar and pestle here on the cutting board, and I'm gonna use this because I want to break down some of these spices, including the ones we just toasted. So let's get those in here. I'm gonna try not to spill anything. Now there's a lot of other spices going, but there's only some that we need to break down a little bit, crack them open to help release their flavors. So we have our mustard seed or coriander seed and our black peppercorns here. And I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of juniper berries to this. And I'm just gonna break this down a little bit. I'm not pulverizing it to a powder. I just wanna crack everything, let everything open up a bit. Now there are a lot of different spice mixtures that people will use when making corned beef. This is mine. You could actually just buy a pre-made pickling spice for corned beef and use that, but figure since we're going from scratch here, might as well go straight from scratch, use all individual ingredients. Great aroma coming off of this now as these break down a bit. All right, that is good. Let's build the rest of our spice mixture. We're gonna add this to a glass bowl. Next ingredient, 6 bay leaves that have been broken down, 1 teaspoon of celery seed, not celery salt, celery seed, 2 teaspoons of whole cloves, 1 cinnamon stick that's been broken down, 2 tablespoons of whole allspice berries, 2 teaspoons of ground ginger, and 1 tablespoon of pepper flakes. I'm gonna mix this all together here. All right, let's head back over to the stove so we can make our brine. All right, I have my low-sided stock pot here. I've got a gallon of water in there, starting to come up to temperature, and I'm gonna add a cup of kosher salt. I'm also gonna add half a cup of brown sugar, 4 tablespoons of our spice mixture that we made, 3 garlic cloves that have just been rough chopped, and 3 teaspoons of a pink curing salt. This curing salt helps prevent bacteria growth. It also helps give it that pink color to the meat. Now remember, this is not Himalayan pink salt or anything like that, and this is not table salt that you eat. In quantities that you might use it for regular salt, it can be very unhealthy for you. So this is for curing. And it's actually colored pink so that people don't mistake it for regular table salt. Whisk this together here. Let our salt and sugar dissolve as we come up to a simmer. Now this recipe calls for a gallon of brine, but if you only use half a gallon of water at first, once you're done and it needs to cool down, you just add the other half gallon of cool water. It really helps cool it down more quickly, so we can actually start the brining process with the meat. So we're just waiting for this to get to a simmer. All right, we've started to simmer here. I'm gonna kill the heat. Give it one more quick stir. I'm gonna add half a gallon of cold water. We're gonna move this off the burner and we're gonna let this cool completely. All right, here is our brisket flat. It's actually a section of brisket flat that I cut off a larger section of brisket flat. Now, if you've watched any of my previous corned beef videos, you've heard me say that I prefer the point in corned beef. I know that is a minority opinion because most people like the flat, so that's why I decided to use the flat today, because if most people are going to use that and we're doing from scratch, I want it to use the piece that most people are going to use. Does that make sense? But I prefer the point. So let's get our brine on here. The brine has been chilling down in the refrigerator for several hours, and I'm going to add the entire amount, which is going to cover this completely. And if I need to, I'll weigh this down with a plate or something like that. So let's get it going. Just going to slowly add this. And this is actually enough brine for a much bigger corned beef. But it doesn't hurt to have it completely submerged and covered. And you want all of those good brine bits out of the container. Get everybody in here. There we go. Now I'm going to put a lid on this and it's going to go in the refrigerator for 5 days. I've seen people do it less time than that, and I've seen people do it much longer than that. I've only done this a couple times before, and I found that 5 days really works well. And as you can see, we started to float up here. So yeah, I can put something on here to weigh it down, but really what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be coming back every day and flipping this. So it's going to be turned several times just to make sure every side is coated and covered and submerged in here. And it really doesn't take much to weigh it down. Just like I said, just a little plate there. And that's going to hold it down. All right, I'm going to get the lid on this, get it in the refrigerator. I'll see you in 5 days. Good morning. And here is our beef brisket flat that's been brining for 5 days now. I turned it over 3 or 4 times in here, I can't remember exactly. And now it's time to get this out of here, rinse it off, get any of those brine bits that are stuck on the outside off, and start cooking it. So let's head over to the sink. Just want to rinse off any of the excess brine and bits on the outside. Now I've cooked corned beef many different ways. In a pot on the stove, in the oven, I've grilled it. But I've also used the slow cooker, and this is just the most convenient way, and it turns out fantastic corned beef. So that's what we're using today. Now what I want to do first is get a layer of potatoes on the bottom. And I'm just using red potatoes here, whole red unpeeled potatoes, because I like that rustic sort of potato with the skin on. See how many we can get in here? That's pretty good. Now, star of the show, our beef brisket. We're just gonna make this guy fit in here. Tuck him down. Now we need to add enough water not to completely cover this, but to come up probably about halfway up the side of the corned beef brisket. It's just a tiny bit too much, so I'm just gonna ladle out a few big spoonfuls of our liquid here. All right, we're gonna set our temperature to low for 8 hours. All right, we're gonna check this in 7 hours, and that's when we're gonna decide at what point our cabbage is gonna go on, because the cabbage really is only gonna take about 45 minutes to an hour. So let's get our lid on, get cooking. I'll see you back here in about 7 hours. All right, we've been going 7 hours here. It's time to check our corned beef. Now, we want to go to a similar temperature that you would go to with just a regular brisket, somewhere in that 200-degree range for tenderness. And it really is about that tenderness. If you were smoking a brisket, you would probe it for tenderness. With corned beef, you can probe it for tenderness. You can use a fork. I'm going to check the temperature and see how tender it is. That is smelling really good. Hopefully you can see that pinkish color there. That develops from the curing salt we use, just like you would in any corned beef. Let's check our temperature and see how tender we are. This is sort of the thicker end right here, I think, so I'm gonna go right here. So it looks like we're showing a temperature there of about 188 degrees. Still resistance. That's a little more tender. but there is still resistance. I'm guessing this is going to have 1 to 2 hours more. So I'm not going to put the cabbage in right now. I'm going to wait another hour, and then we'll see how tender this is, and we'll put the cabbage in, because the cabbage is already going to be cut into sections, so it'll lay in here easily. And I don't want to overcook that. Like I said, it really only takes 45 minutes, maybe even less. So this is doing good right now, but we're going to go another hour and check it, and if we need to, we'll go further. Let's get our lid on and keep cooking. See you back here in about an hour. All right, we've been going 8 hours total now. I'm going to decide if I'm going to put the cabbage in. So we're going to do a quick check of temperature and tenderness on our corned beef. It's smelling great. Let's see. Let's go here. Temperature there. Looking like 190. Down here is the thinner area, 194, 195. And actually the tenderness is not bad right now. Tenderness is pretty good, but does need a little bit more time. So I'm going to put the cabbage in now, because by the time the cabbage is done in 45 minutes to an hour, our corned beef should be ready. So I have some cabbage here that I've quartered up the head. We're just going to put it in here. See if we can get everybody to fit. If we need to, we can break it down a little bit. This is sort of the tall section because our corned beef here is the thicker end. A few pieces here. That looks good. Let's get our lid on. All right, we'll check back on this in 45 minutes or an hour. All right, we've been going just about 9 hours now. I'm pretty sure this is going to be done. I know the corned beef is going to be right where I want it to be. Don't want it to go too far past that sort of 200 temperature or tenderness. And the cabbage, I like it about like what it's going to be here. I'll show you in a minute. If you want it really soft or softer, you can let it go longer. Or what you can do is, instead of putting it on top of the corned beef, lift the corned beef out when you're going to put the cabbage in, put it in there, and then put the corned beef on top of it. That way it's going to be down closer and in the water. It's going to cook a little bit more and a little more quickly. But let's see. Oh, that's looking good. That is nice. That's nice and soft cabbage there. Not too squishy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get our cabbage out, our corned beef out, and our potatoes out, and I'll bring you back when we're ready to look at that corned beef and then plate some up. All right, here is our corned beef brisket. Now, remember how big this thing was when we started? It was about this big. So yes, this stuff shrinks up as you cook it. So you can sort of cram it in there if you need to. If it looks like it's going to be too big for your cooker, it's going to shrink down in size. Let's go ahead and cut into this, and then we're going to cut some slices and build a plate and dive in. Oh, look at that nice pink color in there. That is that pink corned beef look. And we are cutting across the grain here. The grain is running this way. Now, one thing to remember with that pinkness, that's from the curing salt. This is fully cooked. This is beyond well done if you're doing a brisket. If you buy one of these in the store that's been commercially processed, you're going to have that pink color, but you're not going to have sort of the custom flavors you can put into it like we did with some of the juniper berries and things like that. Juniper berries aren't always in a corned beef brine solution, but I like the flavor, so that's one of the nice things about doing it yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and plate some of this up because it's time to taste. All right, here is our plate of homemade from scratch corned beef brisket. Our cabbage, potatoes, and here is some hot mustard. Now, I usually like Coleman's mustard, but I didn't have any, so what I did is I just took some spicy brown mustard, mixed it with like maybe 2 teaspoons of horseradish. Just do it until you get to the heat level and the spice level you like. So keep tasting it until you get it there. But I love this on corned beef, on the cabbage, on the potatoes and everything. Let's have a taste of this cabbage first. I'm gonna get a little bit of mustard on here. Let's see. There's different ways to do cabbage. I really do like getting it in there with the flavors that the corned beef cooked in. It just imparts that flavor and it's so good. And our potatoes here, nice and tender, a little bit of mustard. Super tender, also has that flavor of the juices the corned beef was cooking in. Remember, it lets out a lot of the flavors that it had in it with that brine, just helps permeate everything else. Potatoes are terrific. Now for a piece of our corned beef. I've mentioned before that I prefer the point cut for corned beef. And I think I said at the beginning of this video when I was just starting to put together the brine and everything, that I decided to do the flat because honestly I know that most people like the flat. So I figured I would do what most people would want to do themselves. So I don't have anything against the flat. I do prefer the point. There's more fattiness in there. The flat is a leaner cut. And so I think you lose a little bit of that fattiness and that flavor in there, but there's no way I'm turning this down. Let's see, a little bit of mustard on here. Let's have a taste. There's just a freshness to this because it was made from scratch. I know everything that went into it. I know how long it was in the brine. I rinsed it, I cooked it. I was able to take it to exactly the doneness I want. And so those aspects of controlling all parts of the process when you're making corned beef really add to it at the end. And it's not something you're probably going to do all the time because there is some labor involved and some time, but if you do have the refrigerator space and you can get a brisket flat or point, making the seasonings, making the brine is really not that difficult as you saw. A little bit of effort and a little bit of time and you've got yourself corned beef. So if you've ever wanted to make your own corned beef from scratch, this is how you can do it. It's not super complicated, few steps, a little bit of time, add the same side ingredients, potatoes, cabbage, and you're gonna take your St. Patrick's Day meal to the next level.